welcome down the Hobby Hole, a weekly podcast about hobbies, interests, hyperfixations, sometimes our own, sometimes discovering new ones with guests. I'm your host, Daniel Rustage, musician, dungeon master, card game designer, and man of many hobbies. And I'm also joined by my co-host and best friend, Shwabadi Mark. Shwabadi.
Hi. Shwabadi. I'm the same as him.
Yes. And I'm also
everything
here.
That he just said.
I'm also here with a very special guest, Digital Dan. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm a theme park content creator on YouTube, and I just go to theme parks and mess around and just have fun with my mates and make stupid videos. But yeah that's basically what I do.
I enjoy them very much. That's
Thank you.
This episode is about theme parks and roller coasters and all that sort of broadening thing. We are very fast and loose with the definition of hobby, but I think like visiting theme parks is a hobby that people have. Some people more than others.
Some people have obsessions of it.
Yeah. Would you?
Including me, probably.
Would you say that you border on obsessive?
I mean, you can literally see there's a cushion there with a roller coaster on it from Thought Park Stealth.
Yeah, Stealth.
There is so much theme park merch around my room right now that you can't see on screen. So I'd happily say I've got an obsession with it.
Yeah. Good. I mean, I feel like you either really, really love theme parks or you don't. I definitely know plenty of people who just despise the idea of theme parks, surprisingly, but I am obsessed with them. When I was younger, I used to be terrified of them, but it's one of those things that you've got to build. Okay, that's interesting, because I was going to ask, like, how did you start your theme park adventure into
my parents? A lot of people have parents that don't really like them at all, or maybe one of their parents likes them quite a lot and the other doesn't, so it's like an unequal thing there. But with my parents, they both absolutely loved them. They used to go to Alton Towers and Thought Park and stuff all the time.
Indoctrinated you. Well,
it took a while because Nemesis at Alton Towers, which is now being like completely redone, that when it was open, I think it was around 2012, 2013, and I'm 19 years old now, so that would have been...
I actually would have thought you were older.
You're way younger than I thought. That's crazy.
I thought you were. I honestly thought you were around the same age as me.
I'm 19. So
wow,
quite a few people say that, especially when they see my height, because I'm 6'4". So
I mean, you do very good work for somebody who's 19. So good job.
Thank you very much. But back when I was it would have been about 8 years old, my parents forced me on Nemesis pretty much, and I was crying my eyes out. And they sat me down and they were just like, "Are you sure he doesn't want to get off?" And they were like, "No, send it, it's fine." Went on it, and then ever since I've just been.
That is the thing. With roller coasters, most people are really terrified of the concept of them, but once you ride one or two, it's like an addiction. I was so terrified of roller coasters, I wouldn't even go on the dragon one in Legoland. I was like crying in the queue in Legoland, and I was like too old to be at Legoland and crying in the queue at Legoland.
I have a distinct memory of me and my brother getting onto a log flume. My parents has kind of pushed us onto, just like, you two do it together, sit at the front, and we were on, and they were doing this countdown of the the safety harness thing coming down. Yeah. And as it's counting down, I was crying, I was panicking, I just jumped out and ran to the side, and my brother locked in, is looking at me like,
you abandoned me.
Yeah, I just abandoned him on the log flume because I was so scared.
Full betrayed him. Has he forgiven you in year?
He's never brought it up again. My brother brings up a lot of times. My brother rarely brings up the times I've betrayed him. I think because they were just very common. There was one time we were just walking next to a field, and I saw the sign for electric fence, and I just told my brother to grab the fence.
You're a freak.
Oh my God.
Looking back, I feel like I was terrible to my brother.
What the hell?
He makes up for it because he's an arsehole to me now. So it's like,
fair enough.
It balances.
The worst thing I did to my brother was I'd sometimes pretend to be possessed by an evil, like when Naruto has the nine-tailed demon fox take over him. I'd pretend there was this guy inside me called Danger, and I would turn into Danger and start beating the shit out of him. And I got to the point where occasionally I could just look to him and he'd say, "Daniel?" And I'd be like, "No, it's Danger." And he'd just start crying.
Wow. So Dan, your sibling abuse, do you want to tell us about that? Or
I think one time it sort of backfired. This is going way back to when we were so young. We had like these plastic lightsabers that everyone used to have as a kid. the Star Wars ones, and we were in the living room just fighting with them. And I'm pretty sure my brother, like, I dodged one at one point. He just stabbed the TV, and it just broke.
Oh
so
no!
That was a bit of sort of bad thing for him, but I didn't get in trouble for it.
Yeah, I mean, oh gosh,
brilliant. I do want to rewind briefly to when you said everyone has parents that you know,
indoctrinate them.
The phrasing you said was everyone has parents that dislike them, and I know that them referred to roller coasters at the time, but that's such a funny phrase that I really want to take it out.
Take it out of context, clip that.
Yeah. My roller coaster journey, I think, Daniel, you witnessed really.
Oh, really? Is this another hobby that I've?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I didn't hate roller coasters. I was just terrified of them. And you convinced me to just be like, just get on a couple and then you'll love it. And I was like, I wasn't fully convinced, but
I was the one. I didn't even realize it was. I forgot about that. Like half of Mark's hobbies are because of me, and I didn't realize that theme parks was another one.
Mm-hmm. The only theme park I'd been to, really, before I knew you was I went to Flamingo Land, North Yorkshire, with school because that's where I'm from. And
see, I think Dan might be one of the few people that knows what Flamingo Land is because
I do know what it is. It's home to probably the worst roller coaster I've ever ridden in my life.
Which one's that?
It's called Hero. It was built about 10 years ago. Well, it was that bad that I decided with me and 3 mates we were going to do a charity event where we rode it all day long.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
It was, I genuinely, so I went to a festival about 4 days afterwards, and by the end of it, my shoulders were they felt broken. Like, because that ride was so painful, and then going on holiday or whatever after that.
What does it do that is so, like, horrendous?
Well, it's like, instead of being sat down in a normal seat, you sit down in you stand up in a cage, and it just sort of puts you in a flying position, but you're not properly harnessed in, so you sort of bash around a bit, and it's really
miserable.
Yeah, it's awful. And it's sort of just,
it's like the pear jiggler. Sorry,
it's like the turns and stuff are so tight that you just bash around in this cage, and it's horrific. Ask any sort of enthusiast. Or anything like that.
The only roller coaster I was brave enough to go on at Flamingo Land was, I don't know even if it's still there, it's called Mousetrap. And it's just this like 2-person cart that goes around this, it's quite a tall structure, but it just goes on these like very small loops around it. And it's really boring, but I was terrified because it was like so high up.
Yeah.
And it takes the corners like super fast.
Oh, I hate those ones. I was at Chessington recently and I went on the, what's it called? Rattlesnake? Is it Rattlesnake?
Yeah,
Dan, you know. God, that hurts you. That hurts you.
I hate that one.
That just like, that is just medieval torture because it doesn't even go that fast, but it just and you
feel like you're just going to go off the edge.
And the seats are so like cramped as well that like, you are bashing into the side, and the person I was with, I think, genuinely got bruised, like wounded from that ride. The first, like, I hated roller coasters, and I'm scared of everything, so I was never going to do it. But I feel like the coaster that I rode that made me fall in love with roller coasters is I did Stealth. And at this point, the worst roller coaster I'd been on was something in Legoland, right? This is a step.
Oh
this
my
is
God, that's
extreme,
a massive step.
Right?
Stealth is crazy.
I think that was a good thing because you once you experience the sort of peak of fear, then everything else sort of balances out. You know, you are no longer scared of Nemesis Inferno if you've experienced Stealth, for example. And that's what I would recommend. Anyone who's scared of roller coasters, ride Stealth, and you'll be fine.
Go on the craziest looking one you can find.
just find Stealth.
Find just the craziest one near you and go on that one.
Yeah. All right, let's actually talk about favorite roller coasters of all time. I know you have videos on this, Dan, so you've probably been asked this a million times in your life, but we're here to ask you again.
If you want a comprehensive list of Dan's favorites, you can head to his channel.
Yeah, he's got like top 100s, top 25s in regions, top in UK, top in the world. I'm sure he's done.
I did genuinely try and do a video where I ranked my top 100, and that was so long
painful.
to do. But, yeah.
just give us a few of your favorites and why they're incredible. They don't have to be in the UK. They can be in the world.
I'll give a few in the UK and around the world, I guess. There's one in Belgium that opened a couple years ago that is my favourite in the world, and it's called The Ride to Happiness. It's sponsored by. It's a weird name.
It's really like you're trying to like sell me on like a multi-level marketing campaign or something. like this is a drug.
Oh Jesus! It's basically it has 2 launches. It goes upside down, all while spinning. So it is just.
I do like those ones.
Crazy.
There's the one in Chessington that Dragon's Fury, which is like it's not the craziest coaster in the world, but just the fact that it spins whilst doing it,
it's so much fun.
Makes it so much fun.
But that one in Belgium, literally, like it goes upside down, has launches, and it's all whilst spinning.
God, I put it on my list.
Absolutely crazy.
Mark, do you want to go to Belgium?
Hell yeah, dude.
I mean, the name of the theme park's called Plopsaland, so it's a bit of a
Plopsa. Oh, I'm gonna write this down immediately.
Oh god, I used
to have to go to Plopsaland.
Oh god,
it's a very strange name for a theme park.
Yeah, is it based off Plop the owl who's afraid of the dark? Nobody's gonna get that. That's. Sorry, as a kid, there was a story about Plop. He's an owl that's afraid of the dark. I used to be
obsessed. Think it's about that, but it could be.
I was obsessed with them. All right,
I'm trying to think of some other ones.
What's the best in the UK? Would you say
best in the UK?
We'll do that. Best in the UK, and then you give me your best in America.
Well, there's a newish one at Alton Towers called Wicker Man, a wooden roller coaster. I love that. It's not exactly a thrill coaster. It's more of a family coaster, I guess. One that sort of families could ride.
That people say that because I don't think it is. But I guess
no, it's so fast. I remember going on it for the first time and being so surprised at it. But a lot of people do rate it a lot lower. But I love that thing. Same with Nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new one opening at Thorpe Park, which is going to be the tallest in the UK.
Yeah, you haven't written it yet. Are you predicting that Hyperia is going to be in your top?
Oh yeah. It's the best in the UK by a mile. It looks insane.
Yeah. Gosh, if it's
just
bad,
offer the announcement, it's the best.
I mean, he's recreated it in Planet Coaster. I think you've already ridden it 10 times. Like, you've already simulated in Planet Coaster and like moved your chair around like you're riding it.
Yeah, I've got a fan just to simulate the wind.
Incredible.
But yeah, it's going to be great. And then Nemesis is coming back again, so that'll be even better as well. It's a very exciting year for theme parks in the UK, especially.
I'm just a big Swarm fan. I think
Swarm is my favorite roller coaster.
Swarm's good.
In the UK, I think Swarm is definitely my favorite. Or the Smiler was very good. I hated it when I was younger, but I went again recently to Alton Towers, and it was really good. But I also really liked what's it called? Galactica.
Galactica. Yeah,
Galactica. I really like Galactica. One, it's fun. It's just fun.
I love that one.
Who doesn't like fun? That's why we're here. What about in America? I don't know how experience you have American coasters, but they do have some big ones.
I went to Florida about 5-6 years ago. So I've done sort of the Universals, Disney's over there. Out of them ones, I'd probably say there's one at SeaWorld called Manta, which is similar to Galactica, where you fly, and that's really good. I think there's one at Universal now called Velocicoaster. That's supposed to be really good as well, but I haven't done that one.
There was this place in the Wisconsin Dells that I went to that had it was just wooden coasters. It was all mythology themed, and they had like Zeus, Hades, and stuff. And they had a coaster called Hades, and I think it's the best wooden coaster I've been on. And I haven't been on a lot, but it has this huge drop that goes underground and then comes out in the car park. and then comes back again. I really loved it, mostly because I didn't know it came out of the car park when I rode it for the first time. I didn't know it went underground. So
just look over there. Oh, there's my car. I love that.
It was incredible. I think one of the best or worst roller coaster experiences I had was with you, Mark, in Korea. When we were in
Lotte World.
So Dan, I can't imagine. Have you been to Korea? Have you been to?
No, I have not. And I've never heard of Lotte World.
Lotte World. So Lotte is a huge corporation in Korea. They have food chains, they have hotels, they have whatever, and they have a theme park. And I think it's one of the world's biggest indoor theme parks. It does have an outdoor section. Most of it is indoors. It's huge.
It was at one point the world's biggest indoor theme park, but now it does say Korea's biggest indoor theme park on their website.
Yeah,
so
I think there's probably other ones. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
But when we went there, which was in like 2019, there was a coaster I don't know if it's really a coaster, but it was just a big loop, like a loop-to-loop in a coaster. And it went round
Literally just a circle.
Yeah. And it would go around it fast, but then it would go around it really slowly, just enough that you're kept in, but not enough that it doesn't feel like you're going to fall out, right?
So it just hangs you there sort of thing.
Yeah. And genuinely one of the scariest experiences, because a fast roller coaster is like that's an adventure. But this is just... This is just feels like you're going to die.
Yeah.
And this must have been the general consensus, because literally a month after we went on it, they closed it down. It doesn't exist anymore. And there's no other thing like it, I think, in the world. I've tried desperately to find other coasters like it. But yeah, it's insane.
It was hilarious because it takes you around that loop quite a few times. And the first few times we're going like around it, we're both like, oh, whoa, this is crazy.
Yeah,
this is, we're just, we're getting spun upside down. And then after like the sixth one, you're like, I really feel as though I'm in danger. And I'd please be released from this trap.
Yeah. Because you have supports, but not enough, I think.
No.
Not enough.
It's like a seatbelt is one of them.
And that's, you could slip out.
You probably could, yeah.
Your glasses and hat are definitely falling off.
I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah. I've literally been on a log flume, which we met earlier. Like, I've literally been on a log flume where my mate was in front of me, and we went down the massive drop. There was two massive drops. We went down the first one, and he had his hat on, and it stayed on perfectly fine. And we were like, "Oh my god, his hat stayed on. It'll be fine for the next one." Going down the next one, as we're halfway down, I just see the hat just go flying over my head. I was like, "Oh, that's gone."
No, that's gone.
But yeah, just I mean, most of them, they're doing a lot more recently. Different coaster manufacturers, if you want to call it that. They're sort of doing more upside down elements and stuff, just with a lap bar. Yeah, which is obviously a newer thing because
it's scary.
All used to have
the shoulder ones,
which to a lot of people feel safer. Obviously, lap bars are just as safe. But I can get when people say, "I feel like I'm gonna fall out," because it makes total sense. Like you're just held in by that.
Terrifying.
Like that Hyperion one I talked about.
Yeah,
you're saying about the fact that it held you up there for so long. There is an element on Hyperion that is designed to hold you upside down for ages. So it literally goes like that and stays like that for a bit and then goes down.
Oh god, I'm gonna piss myself.
And that's just got a lap bar. So that'd be brilliant.
I'm so excited to ride it. I'm 100% going to. I just worry about. I wouldn't want to go on the opening week because there's going to be so many people.
Oh, it'd be so busy.
We have the benefit, me and Mark, because we do like music and stuff full time. We don't have like a 9 to 5, so we are able to go to theme parks on days that it's not super busy now, which is incredible. The worst thing about theme parks is waiting in the queues at theme parks when there's lots of people, because no matter how good a roller coaster is, I don't think it's worth a 2 to 3 hour wait for like a 20-second experience.
I would agree, but I did wait 2.5 hours for Wicker Man once.
Was it the first time you rode it?
Probably about 10th time I rode it.
Right, but like, what are you gonna do? At that point,
if it was like, oh, this is a brand new experience, I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. It's like the 10th time you've ridden it.
I'm like, you've ridden it now. Like, I'm not, yeah, I get it. If you're, a lot of people have that sunk cost fallacy with like Disneyland or something. They'll wait 2 hours in a queue because they've traveled across the world to go there, and they're only there for today. And if they don't ride it, they're never going to ride it. So they're doing it for the experience, which I get. But I feel like at some point I'm not waiting for more than, I don't know, an hour or two in a queue. I mean, the benefit is a lot of theme parks have like tracking of how long queues are now, like on apps and stuff. So when we go to Thorpe Park and when we have, we just would have that, and we would just go to the coasters that have like a 5-minute queue, and we'd just pop around them, and it'd be incredible.
Although it's always the ones that on the app say 5 minutes, and then everyone sees that and they go,
I see.
"Oh, hang on a minute," and then it's like 60 minutes in 2 seconds.
But I also think you might be overestimating how many people actually use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
true. Yeah.
I feel like it's an underrated strat. I feel like it depends on the day, but there are swaths of people who just go and they don't think about theme parks any harder than I'm going to go and just have a good time.
Stand in a queue and then ride a roller coaster. Yeah.
We used to... My worst ever theme park experience was Alton Towers when I was younger, because it was Halloween, right? So it was really cold and the weather was shit, but the park was still open because it's Halloween. But because it's Halloween, it was still super busy. So the queues were 2 to 3 hours long. I was with a bunch of people I didn't really like that much. I got sick. So I was just like coughing and spluttering in the queue. I got bullied by a 10-year-old child. Listen, I've got a very weak, I'm very insecure. So I was in a queue, and this 10-year-old in front of me just started making fun of me for some reason. He just started, I think he overheard whatever I was talking about, and he just started turning around and just calling me a wanker, and I didn't know what to do. I couldn't leave, so I just sort of stood there and took it. And
I can picture that so clearly as well.
And then on the way home, we were driving in the night in Alton Towers, and I'm sick. I've taken my shoes off in the car, in the front. I'm wrapped up in a blanket. And we're driving along the road, and we get into a car crash. We go to a T-junction, we hit a fucking wall and go over. One of the wheels goes flying, and the car spins out. We're fine, kinda. We're a little bit battered up, terrified. We get out the car. I don't have my shoes on, so now I'm standing in the wet. I'm sick. I'm in the freezing cold. The guy whose car is just crying over his car and calling his dad. I'm I don't know what's going on. Eventually his parents show up 40 minutes later, take us home, and then later that night his parents came into the room that I was staying in, and they gave me £10 as an apology.
£10?
They're almost
which I feel is more disrespectful than just not giving me anything, because it feels like they're telling me that my life is worth a tenner. But since then, I recently went to Alton Towers, and it was incredible. I think Alton Towers is really good. It's just big. And when I was there, because it wasn't that busy, they weren't running any of the sky transportation stuff. So you just had to walk an hour to get around.
But it's that big?
It is, well, maybe I'm sorry, hyperbole say an hour, but it is pretty big. Yeah, it's big.
I've not been.
Huge.
I've not been.
I think if you wanted to walk from the furthest point, so maybe Oblivion, sort of all the way down there to another furthest point, which is probably where Galactica is, you'd be probably walking about half an hour. Yeah, it's a lot. There's an entire gardens in the middle.
Yeah.
You have to get a monorail.
Yeah,
you have to get a monorail from the car park to the entrance.
Yeah. We walked it, but there is a part in Alton Towers that if you were there and you took a picture of it and you just hung out there, you wouldn't think you were in a theme park. You would think you were just in the woods,
Well, that's the strange thing, though. The reason for that is because, fun fact of the day, Alton Towers can't build above the tree line. So they have to, unlike Thorpe Park, where they can just sort of build 200 foot tall or 230 odd, towers have to build beneath the trees, which is why you see Nemesis dug into a pit. Oblivion's all underground, pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
So it's pretty. It's very cool. Sort of brings the best out of them, I guess.
Yeah.
You have to be more unique.
Yeah, they're more creative with it instead of just doing big drop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, Smiler, Galactica, Wickerman, they're all very, very good. Even Sonic Pinball is great.
Oh, Spinball is it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I did that one 3 times. It's incredible. Okay, if you were going to make your dream sort of... Actually, no, we'll save this to the end, because I just realized we could do a draft of that. What would you say is your favorite roller coaster video game?
Game?
Yeah, let's go slightly off topic here, because
how many are there?
There's quite a few.
There's quite a
lot.
Wow.
See, this is educated, because everyone played Roller Coaster Tycoon when they were younger, if they're into video games. But nowadays, there's a whole plethora. I think
there's mainly 2 best ones, I'd say.
Yeah.
Planet Coaster, like you mentioned earlier, that's probably the best one for just general use. It's like Roller Coaster Tycoon, but way more modern, I guess. Made by the same people, so it sort of makes sense. And then there's another that's more simulated and more realistic called No Limits 2, and I cannot gauge my head around it because it's all to do with forces. And
it's for those like hardcore coaster designers.
I've tried to design it, and my coasters literally just like they'll go into a launch and in about 2 meters just go straight up 90 degrees, and it's like it would just bash your neck in and stuff. Yeah, no.
I'm bad at making coasters in Planet Coaster as it is. I need to learn.
I've got 3,000 hours on it, which isn't a proud achievement, but
don't worry. Yeah. I mean, that's. I mean, I could see how it's a game that you'd get 3,000 hours in. I've made some pretty expansive parks in it, but
I mean, it's also I started making recreations of certain rides, like you said, Hyperia and stuff.
Yeah.
And I made a few in the past, so I just thought, let me just keep making them. So obviously that takes a while to sort of look at a photo of it,
and like recreate it.
Sometimes it's really frustrating. Yeah. Literally went to Alton Towers into their HQ and decided Nemesis plans are all mine.
It'd be ludicrous if you put all that effort in to steal the blueprints just to do a Planet Coaster video, and not for any reason like, you know, creating your own theme park where you steal it or selling the plans.
No kind of industrial espionage. It's just I really wanted to make a faithful copy in my video game.
I mean, the coolest thing though is
craziest heist.
Genuinely, like I've had the designer of Hyperia and the original designer of Nemesis email and message me saying how cool the recreation was and that they love it.
Oh wow,
yeah,
which is
great.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
And yeah, it was so cool. Like I didn't expect a reply from it at all. But it's sort of like when you sort of make your own thing. You look at it and you go, oh, that's really cool. Like, I've made that. But when you recreate something, you see it and you go, that looks very similar to real life. That's so satisfying.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why I do them more. And also it's part of my job with my channel, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's a good niche if it's something that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
I hope it just doesn't in time make you hate theme parks.
I think the only reason I would hate a theme park is if it was home to that Hero roller coaster again, or I think if I worked at one, I think it would lose a lot of the.
I did briefly work at Flamingo Land.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, but I wasn't, obviously a ride operator or anything like that. I was just, I just worked on the grill, and then one day they were like, we need somebody to temporarily cover one of, like the game booths where people throw like the balls.
Oh,
the prize. They were like, that guy's off. Can you do it? I was like, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I'd never done anything like that before. And one of the most intimidating jobs ever, because you get, you get plenty of the people who come across, they pay you, they try, and they're like, I couldn't do it, blah, blah. They walk off. Then you also get the families of people who are just like, this is rigged. You've rigged it, haven't you? I paid £5 to have a go at this. And I was like, man, I'm just covering a shift. I don't know.
I didn't make it.
Did you have to do the thing where like people would walk past and you'd have to like say like, come and try this, 3 balls in to win sort of thing? And
I was given like a little script, a few lines that I was told to repeat every so often if nobody was at the stall, which was just mortifying because I'd never done anything like that at that point, so I was just terrified.
I think I was literally sat on a bench at Thorpe Park, and with a few friends, and some guy who was doing that job came over and was like, "Oh, do you want to play this booth over here?" And we were like, "Nah, thanks." And then he started making an offer of like, "Oh, I'll give you double the balls for just £1 extra if you want." And we were like, "No, it's fine. Don't worry about it."
Actually, you could just take a prize. You could fuck it. I just need someone.
They must get some kind of commission at Thorpe Park.
They must. Or they have a quota. It's like you have to have at least this amount of people play.
Yeah, maybe.
Right. What would you... Well, in terms of theme parks, like not just roller coasters, in just terms of theme park experience, what would you say is the best theme park you've gone to versus the worst theme park that you have visited?
See, it's going to be a really boring answer for the worst one because I couldn't tell you a worst theme park because I guess they're all just different in their own way.
They're all good to some extent. And I honestly... That I think the worst aspect of a theme park is, as we said before, often to do with crowds and people and that experience that you have whilst you're there. Yeah. Like if you're treating every theme park as empty, you can't really go wrong. But I guess there are some theme parks that no matter what you do will always be crowded. And
Disneyland.
Like
just
Disneyland.
As a whole.
Yeah. I don't think I would like to go to Disneyland again as an adult now because I understand why the appeal, but it's always busy. The queues are always long. and it doesn't have the sort of rides that I like. Like, it doesn't have... It's not like Alton Towers or Thorpe Park or Six Flags where it has, like, there's, like, 7 coasters and
it's
they're all
everything
fun.
for the family, isn't
yeah,
it?
It's everything. There's, like, you get on a boat and you look at people sing at you, and it's like, this is fun, but I'm not waiting 3 hours for this.
Yeah, I went to Disneyland Paris very recently, and I think a lot of the times the queues there are a bit over exaggerated. So it'll say like an hour for this, and
then you actually get
half an hour. But it's a lot more family oriented.
Disney actually do that on purpose to reduce queue times by they exaggerate their queue time lengths.
I genuinely think Alton Towers and Thorpe Park have started doing that, but there's obviously no telling if that's true or not.
True or not, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I think they just have like minimum. They have like thresholds, right? So if a queue is like 42 minutes long, they'll say 50. They'll just round up.
Yeah.
I've only actually been to Disneyland in Tokyo, which was a fun experience. The experience of my Disneyland Tokyo was queuing for 3 rides and they all breaking down whilst I was in the queue for them. Every single one, one after another. Right?
That's insane.
I hate when that happens.
The only ride I ended up riding was the It's a Small World, where they will sing at you. So that's my experience.
Yeah.
And then
that does sound like a miserable theme park experience.
And then I had a Mickey Mouse burger that was poor.
Worth the trip for that.
my not Flamingo Land. God, I just looked at my list. I made a list of theme parks and rides I've been on, so I didn't forget. And then I'm just reading the same one over and over again.
Just keep
so
saying
my
Flamingo.
Disneyland, my Disneyland experience. It was Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
And I've been there twice. Once because my school went, and once because my college went, which is fun. Actually, I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. We went during like kind of the off peak.
Yeah.
The school trip was like, it was, when was it? June or something like that. So everyone was still in school.
Yeah. All right.
And it wasn't like too busy. But the rides I thought were brilliant. Space Mountain. They had
I'm
the
sure they would
Aerosmith
be.
ride.
I'm
the
sure
Tower
they
of
were.
Terror. I thought they were brilliant. So it's probably one of the
Tower
best
of Terror
theme park
is amazing.
experiences.
I've been scarred. Actually, when I was in fucking... You've just reminded me of one of my deeply traumatic childhood memories.
I often do that.
In secondary school, everyone went on a trip to France for French in year 9. And I didn't go because I was like, I'm not taking French GCSE. We're probably just going to be looking at fucking World War II memorials like they always do when they're in France and just doing general French stuff. I'm going to stay at home and play Team Fortress 2 or whatever I was doing at the time. And I was like the only kid to not go. It turns out... They all went to fucking Disneyland. It was a big surprise. Whilst they were like driving through France, they turned the corner and they went to Disneyland, and everyone had this amazing day out at Disneyland, except for me. They didn't tell me that. I was never informed.
How much that still hurts you to this day.
It's just, at that point, I had never really properly like had that many positive theme park experiences, and I was like, it hurts. Because I've not.
I feel like there's a life lesson in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, always go to everything that people like school trips.
No, it's don't reject educational experiences because they could turn out to be very fun.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's for the viewers.
Right. That's for the viewers.
Yeah.
That's another quote I should put on my wall.
Yeah.
Write
that one down. Print it out.
Print it out. Put it up. Put it up. Okay.
But yeah, Disneyland Paris was funny because it had all these crazy rides. I absolutely love Space Mountain. I don't like drop rides, but Tower of Terror was super fun.
I hate drop rides.
And then we went to like the restaurant that they have there, and obviously it's in France. So my teachers that were taking us there, lecturers in college, were like, "We've booked this table and the French dining experience." So like they brought out snails and frog's legs and that kind of thing.
Oh, God.
But
yeah,
I don't like. I'm going to assume that those things are supposed to taste nice, but this was the Disneyland Paris restaurant. And everything was just the same rubbery, disgusting texture, just covered in garlic. And I was like,
fucking...
Oh, lovely.
About half of us after that just went back to our hotel and threw up. It was like really bad.
Alton Towers has that one roller coaster restaurant, which is like they serve the food and it comes down on like a track and it's really cool. But when it arrives, it's like microwavable meals. It's like you order like chicken wings and it comes down. It's like, oh, this is just like oven wings.
Yeah. It's really sad because literally recently towers and stuff used to have like McDonald's, KFCs, Pizza Huts, all that stuff. But even recently they got overtaken by I think Merlin. The whole group of them is Merlin Entertainments. I think they got a new company in to do all the food called Aramark, and someone found out that they do prison food. So, and it's just like, oh, we're in for a good couple of years with these people.
Yeah. Holy shit!
It's not.
That's
the nicest.
What would you say is?
Really nice,
what would you say? Let's side tangent. What would you say is the nicest food that you've had at a theme park?
There was talking of Disneyland Paris when I recently went for my girlfriend's 21st. There was a buffet, and it was the best buffet I think I've ever had. That was a sort of Western sort of cookout one with all these different like steaks and blah blah blah. That was really good. In the UK, oh god, with that Aramark place, I don't think there's lots. There's some good loaded fries at places. Loaded fries are always good.
Yeah.
They do some good like Ben and Jerry's milkshakes, but that's still not really.
I would say probably the best food I had was at Lotte World when I went with my brother. I don't think we had much food when we went, Mark, but when I went to Korea recently and I went with my brother, they had this like, I guess it's technically a food court, kinda, but there was a desk and they just served like katsu curry, katsudon, like actually quite good meals. And I was like, this isn't going to be very good because this is a theme park. And I got it, and then they serve it to you, you pick it up, and it genuinely was actually a pretty decent meal. Like, compared to other food in Korea and Japan, it was okay, but like compared to some Korean and Japanese food in England, it was pretty good.
I think the only food I've ever had at theme parks, it's just they always just have, like the KFC, Burger King. They just have fast food chains available inside of the theme park.
Yeah.
Or like a hot dog stand or something. Like when we went to Lotte World, Lotte, the company, owns like a fast food burger chain that's massive in Korea.
Yeah. That's what we had last time was
the
Lotteria.
only restaurant that was in Lotte World was Lotteria. So it was just burgers.
Yeah.
It was just Korean McDonald's. But yeah, nice to know that they've upgraded since.
Yes, they have. Yes,
they have an actual
They
food
have an
cart.
actual food. I think they have more food.
I genuinely think burgers are the only thing I've eaten when I go to theme parks, except for that one time I went
at
to
Thorpe
Disneyland.
Park, I always get Burger King. Just because they have it, and I'm like, I like Burger King, even though sometimes it makes me throw up. Oh, I still have it. I never learned my lesson.
It's a risk I'm willing to take.
Yes, it is. Burger King is the most. We'll do an episode on fast food.
Is that a hobby?
Yeah, it is for somebody.
I suppose it is like a hyperfixation.
Yeah. We'll do a fast food
tier list.
Yeah.
We could definitely do that.
Okay.
That would be an argument.
That would be favorite. Okay, we said worst theme park. What would you say is your favorite theme park? And then we'll do the draft.
My favorite theme park. Some people don't agree. It's one in Spain called Portaventura World. I love that place.
There's a lot of European ones I want to visit. I want to visit that one in Germany that has the rides.
That has the rides.
It's got the one that goes. Woo, I can't. Wait, it's you know the one I'm talking about.
I probably do. That's the really sad thing about me. I probably do.
Yeah. What's
it
called?
Europa Park?
I can't remember the name.
Well, either way, I think there's that Portaventura one. There's one in Sweden called Liseberg that's really good. Yeah. And also one in Germany called Phantasialand.
It's Phantasialand is the one I was thinking of. There we go.
That is an insane theme park.
Yeah, if you really want to go to Phantasialand.
If you like theming and stuff, so like the general atmosphere, just incredible. They built a whole area surrounding one roller coaster, all steampunk, and it's incredible. It's one of the best roller coaster experiences I've ever been on.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. I'd love to go there.
I definitely recommend it.
You just reminded me, Daniel, of a German theme park I did go to. I used to live in Germany when I was very young, when I was like 4, and I remember, and we have home video of me at Warner Brothers World Germany, which is now called just like Movie Park or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I've been there.
Have you?
Yeah, I've been to Movie Park Germany. It's really fun.
I don't know if it's anything like it was when I went as a kid, because like I say, this was 1999 when I went. But they had this stunt show. I don't remember any of the rides. We went on some of like the little rides, but I don't remember any of those. But I remember this stunt show where it's this giant open, like basically what looks like a big car park, but it's got like all seating around it, and they bring like stunt cars out. They're doing drifts and stuff. They do little ramps, and the one scene I remember is this one guy shows up in like a getaway car, drifts around a bunch, gets out, gets in this tiny little wooden shed. About 5 seconds pass, you're like, what's happening? And then it just explodes. It's just this massive fireball. And I was like, he's dead! and then a helicopter like comes down, and it was crazy. It was like
incredible.
the crazy experience I've had like as a kid is Warner Brothers World.
They still have
And I
that
don't remember
stunt show.
any of the rides.
They still have that stunt show. I just didn't watch it, so I don't know if Matt
yeah.
explodes in it.
Damn, I hope it's like just the same routine.
I feel like it must
for the
be
last 25 years.
It must be
Probably
expensive
similar.
to keep hiring a new person to die every time.
Yeah, you'd think. You might be surprised at how willing the Germans are to get in a tiny wooden box and
I'm not
explode.
surprised.
Yeah. No.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I just remembered that one. So
Okay.
there are 5 theme parks I've been to.
Yeah.
All right.
Gosh,
Should
my
we
favorite.
draft?
Yeah, we'll draft. My favorite's probably Thorpe Park.
Thorpe Park's great.
But I need to experience more. I need to go to more.
Me too.
They're just fun. They're
Listen.
so different as well.
Mr. Digital Dan, if you ever go into another theme park and you need an extra person to come by, I'm
give you a
always
shout.
willing. Give me a shout. I'll come by.
Yeah,
I want
fuck
to experience
me.
more. Yeah.
Sounds
But you can also listen. I wasn't gonna assume that you also wanted to come. You should also say, "Hey,
I need to go to more theme parks. I do.
Yeah.
So any recommendations? I've
You got a
actually
double
written
package.
down
You get a
the
buy one
two
get
that
one
you-
free.
The 2 that you've mentioned in Europe, I really want to go to. The one in Belgium and Spain. So I've written those down.
Yeah, Phantasialand's another good one. If you want to go
Fantasia.
there.
Yeah,
Oh,
Fantasia Land's
interesting.
on my list.
Yeah.
There's also a couple in Korea and Japan I want to go to. All right, let us do a draft. Mr. Digital Dan, sometimes at the end of our episodes, we'll do a draft where we create something. We've done it before with like D&D and other things. But in this case, we have 4 categories. You're creating your ideal theme park. And
God.
you're gonna choose a theme park in each of these categories, and one of them is going to be coasters, one of them is going to be like flat rides, one of them is going to be decor, and I guess the last one I think will be food.
Fair enough.
Unless there's anything else.
Well, I guess in the flat ride department, you could. I guess it's just like other rides as well,
mixture.
like water rides and dark rides and stuff. Like,
You know, I'm gonna say rail rides, flat rides, the 2
Okay,
categories, and then decor, and then either food or I you know what? I'll make that an other category. You could just put anything in there, and you can put whatever you want.
Okay.
And then we go round, and you obviously can't pick something that somebody else has picked. We will go round where we'll start with Mark, then we'll go to you, Dan, and then we'll go to me.
Yeah.
And we'll
I
always
was
start
going to
with
say,
Mark.
please start with me because I know the fewest.
Okay. All right. We'll start. Dan knows the most, so he's probably going to make the best
sure.
one. All right. Mark, you
I
begin.
don't know
gonna-
about that. I'll probably make one stupid.
I'm
to be
gonna start off strong because I know one of you 2 want this. For rail rides, I'm gonna take Thorpe Park.
Okay.
There we go.
Great. All right, Dan, go ahead.
fair. Probably Alton Towers.
Ah! No! There's
A
zero to
rail
a no! Fine, whatever. Then I will go with the one I went to, Wisconsin Dells, with the incredible for rail rides. I'll go for the one in Wisconsin Dells that has the really
Also, you're
good
going
wooden
for
coasters.
wooden
You know what?
coasters.
I'm
That's
gonna go with a
exciting.
theme. I'm gonna go with a theme here. I'm gonna have a bunch of really cool wooden coasters. They have like 6 wooden coasters of varying levels. Like Hades is top, and then it goes Zeus, and then it goes Poseidon, and then Pegasus, and then a bunch. And they're all fun. They're all great. So I'm gonna do that. My wooden coasted utopia.
Gosh.
All right. You could choose it for any category. I know we all just started with rail rides, but you could.
So the other categories, so we all chose rail rides first, but the other categories are flat rides, decor, and just a miscellaneous whatever category you want at the end. Miscellaneous, I'm going to choose the zoo portion of Flamingo Land.
Shit, that's actually fire.
Because the zoo is actually very
That's
good.
actually
there.
fire.
The zoo is the
But,
best part of
yeah,
Flamingo Land.
That was so good.
Yeah.
I love the zoo there.
It's like 50% zoo, 50% theme park. I think it's brilliant. Or 50% rides, I should say.
Yeah.
Oh wait, so we're not allowed. So say you've said Thorpe Park, Mark.
Yes.
I can't say that.
Yeah, that's how a draft works. It's like in basketball.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yes. You stole it. I can't regret my choice now. I feel like there's definitely better theme parks with better roller coasters than this one I went to in Wisconsin that had wooden coasters. I should have chosen like a Six Flags something or a...
I think decor. I'd probably go that Phantasialand one I mentioned because it's probably the most beautiful theme park I've ever been to. If you want to call it
Yeah,
that.
I was actually going to go decor next as well, and I was going to go with the one in Osaka that I went to, Universal Osaka, where it's just the Nintendo Land. The way that they make it feel like you're in Nintendo in Mario Land is incredible.
Oh,
and
I really want to go there.
I would
That's awesome.
I'm not even saying Universal in general. I'm just saying Nintendo Land with wooden roller coasters. That's ideal.
Have you seen the expansion they're doing to the Nintendo
Are they
Land?
doing like Zelda stuff?
No, so they're doing a Donkey Kong roller coaster. It'll actually jump the tracks.
What? For real? This isn't just like an SCP.
It basically runs. It runs on a real track underneath, but it's a fake track that looks like it's underneath you, and then that breaks. And so it's really cool though.
That is very, very cool.
That Nintendo Land is now in Hollywood, and it's going to
Universal has the same issue as Disney for me, where there's so many people. And Nintendo Land was really fun to be there, but I wasn't that much of a fan of the rides. Like I queued for the Mario Kart one, and it was fine. But I just really like roller coasters, and they don't have any. Okay.
I mean, Universal's coming to Bedford, apparently.
What?
So, have you not heard about this?
You know what? I have, because I watch your videos. So
yeah, Universal might be building a theme park in Bedford, England, which is a really weird place to do it. But there you go.
That's fun. All right, gosh. Mark, you got to you pick a decor.
I'm really struggling for flat rides because I just don't think I know enough theme parks. I'm gonna go decor, and I'm gonna go Disneyland because they have like set pieces, and the way that like a lot of the rides are dressed, I think is incredible. So if I had the rail rides from Thorpe Park, but had the Disneyland like set design team, I think they would make some wicked stuff. Yeah, I think it would be really cool.
See, that's the thing. Flat rides would have been Thorpe Park because they've got such a good selection of them. But I can't say that.
I'm trying to think of flat rides as well. I feel like there's been ones that I've enjoyed, and I just can't remember them.
I think Chessington has a good selection of. Yeah, you know what? Chessington for flat rides. Why not? It has a good selection of family ones, especially recently.
I was going to choose Chessington for the zoo. They have a bush dog. I'd never seen a bush dog before. I went to Chessington. They have a bush dog. Bush dogs are incredible.
Better than all the roller coasters.
Yeah, they're almost extinct. Bush dogs. I've never seen them in any actual zoo.
Wow. I don't think I've ever heard of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, neither.
Look them up. Wow. They're great. They're so good. They're like little dogs. No, they're not dogs. They're like
bush dogs.
They're bush dogs. I don't. Are they even canine? Yeah, canine. They kind of look like big fat weasels, bears.
Wow.
They look like you take a bear and you take a weasel and you sort of do one of those things where you get the middle point between those two. And that's
you anamorph them together.
You anamorph them together.
I will go to Chessington purely to see the bush dog now.
Yeah, Sam, you've sold me on it.
I've sold you on the bush dog. God, flat ride. I genuinely, I know that there's a memory of a flat ride in my head where I rode it and I was like, this is incredible. I might have enjoyed this even more than certain coasters. And I literally can't fucking remember what it is.
What did it do?
This is the thing. I just remember the feeling.
Oh, okay.
I just remember the emotion I felt. Where I was like, wow, this was great. You know what? Do you know what actually has good flat rides? Because it doesn't have that. Lotte World has pretty decent flat rides, actually.
Yeah, because it only has one roller coaster, which is Atlantis.
Most of it is flat rides in the end.
Yeah.
And so, and a lot of them have cool theming. Yeah. Sure, it has everything. Fine, I'll do Lotte World.
All right.
We were just picking from the obscure ones I've been to.
So, is it the last category now, right?
Last category for whatever
I've only got flat rides left.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick the flat rides. I can't pick one that I've been to, so I'm just going to have to guess.
This is the thing, right? I knew that Dan had been to lots of theme parks, so I thought he was going to do a really nice, diverse plethora, but he picked Alton Towers first, and that fucked us over.
For flat rides, I'm going to go for Blackpool Pleasure Beach, because I can't think of anywhere that would have good flat rides. No, Nickelodeon Land at Blackpool.
That has good flat rides, to be fair.
Because that's just flat rides, surely.
I think they've got 2 wooden roller coasters, but that's about it. Other than that, I think it's got loads of flat rides here, so that's good.
Yeah, imagine the power of that. The roller coasters from Thorpe Park, the flat rides from Nickelodeon Land, were all decorated by the Disney team. Incredible. I want to go here.
Yeah. That's fair. That's
and
actually
the zoo
quite
of
good.
Flamingo Land.
Yeah, actually, I would visit. I think I would visit yours over mine. I'll be honest.
What's your last category, Dan?
I think mine's other in it.
Oh yeah.
You haven't done another.
What's other?
It could be food.
God, that's a difficult one.
It could be whatever you want. Stuff.
I think that Portaventura world that I mentioned in Spain, I think I'd choose that for other because they've got I think they've got
what are you
about
taking
5
for
or
them?
6. Oh God.
Yeah,
The food is good, but
yeah.
Technically there's 2 theme parks in that because it's Portaventura World and Ferrari Land. Can I take Ferrari Land?
Yeah, what are you taking for Ferrari Land?
The cars.
The cars?
There's a really just take all the Ferraris from it. There's a really cool theater that you sit in and seats move out and it
4D cinema stuff.
Yeah, but it's sort of like it's called a flying theater, but you sort of just like fly over loads of different like scenes and stuff.
I think I've seen that. Yeah,
I think I'd take that from it because that's other. But I'd happily just take that because it's so cool.
Yeah, take that. That's fine. That is a theater. That I was trying to think of something. I was thinking about shows and musicals and stuff along mine, but I think I might pivot into. Oh gosh. I've literally just thought of a bunch of theme parks that I wish I did for the other ones now. But
I stole 2 of them.
Yeah, you stole 2 of them. But there's the one near Mount Fuji. I think it's Fujiland that has some crazy roller coasters. I think.
Oh yeah, that does have crazy coasters.
Yeah.
Have you been to Japan? Theme park?
Oh no, I haven't. I'd love to go one day, but
you should.
Yeah.
You could business expense it if you were going for if you were specifically going to visit theme parks, which you should. You could business expense it.
That's literally every holiday of mine. Just go to a theme park.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Do it. I fully recommend it. Damn, I don't know. I will probably do.
Just hit the stunt show from Warner Brothers World.
Yeah, I was thinking something like.
I'm low-key sad that I didn't.
Exploding Man.
I should have picked the Exploding German Man.
Can I do all of like the model villages from Legoland, like the interactability of Legoland?
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, like all of because Legoland has a lot of things that you could do that aren't rides, like playing with Lego and enjoying the experience. They have mazes. I haven't been there in ages, but I'm gonna pick that. I've lost. So
this is the first time we've done this where I feel like I've actually like won a draft.
Yeah,
this is great.
Right,
the comments will let us know.
Do you want to recap your ones? I've got wooden coasters from this one mythology theme park in Wisconsin Dells. I've got the Nintendo Land theming, which is probably my highest point. I've got flat rides from Lotte World, which so far we've only described as terrifying, and I've and I've got Legoland vibes. Yours
sounds like a fantastic family.
True
theme park.
Well, mine is like family. Like it tricks you into thinking it's a family, and then all of the rides kill you.
Are you taking specifically that one circle loop?
Yeah, that's what I'm counting. That.
Yeah, okay, because that doesn't exist anymore, but you can totally.
I'm counting that.
Rebuild it, reclaim it. Okay, I had the rail rides from Thought Park, the flat rides from Nickelodeon Land Blackpool, the decorations from Disneyland, and my miscellaneous was the Flamingo Land Zoo.
Yeah, and
that sounds like a solid theme park.
It sounds so fun.
It's good.
I'm so proud of myself.
This is where my memory's tested. The rail rides from Towers, Norton Towers, which would be a good selection of Thrill family. What was the other one? Flat rides from Chessington. There you go.
Yeah.
Again, more family.
Yeah.
The decor from Phantasialand, which would just be out of this world. And other was the flying theatre thing from
Ferrari Land
in Portaventura World.
Fantastic. Perfect. Well, the viewers will let us know which of those theme parks.
Let us know in the comments which one.
I would also love as like a bonus comment for American viewers to let us know what the best theme parks are in the US because
we haven't got
both of us visit relatively regularly, and I've never been to a theme park in America, so let me know where I should go.
Yeah, perfect. Well, that's it. We'll wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming, Mr. Digital Dan. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you for having me on. Appreciate
being here. Hope you had a good time.
It's been good.
Yeah, I'm glad. We don't actually have a set outro. I think like 80% of them have just been us screaming.
Yeah.
I mean, we can do that if you want.
We can.
POV, you're about to
ride on a roller coaster. This works. All right, everyone, we're on.
All right, guys. Thank you for coming down the hobby hole with us, and we'll catch you in the next episode.